And view full screen. All right, this is our first lesson of chapter 10 that really has to do with conic sections. And the first one is always circles because they're the easiest. Every conic section can be written in this standard form: ax squared plus by squared plus cx plus dy plus e equals 0. Now, let me go back. I didn't mean to just do that. For a circle, when you have a circle, A and B right here, the numbers in front will be equal to one another. And there's going to be all plus sign. So, ax squared plus by squared plus cx plus dy plus e equals 0. And A and B will be the same. Now, for many of ours, you're not going to have a number in front. It will just be x squared and y squared. But that's one way later, especially when we start doing parabolas and hyperbolas and things like that, that you are able to recognize whether or not it's a circle and ellipses. All right, so given standard form right here, it's very easy to graph, but it's not so easy to graph when the formula you're given looks like this. So we take it from here and put it into standard form. Now this plus here should be a big plus. It shouldn't be up in the superscript like that. So we're going to complete the square, and we have to do it twice. So I'm going to go down here where I have plenty of room. We're going to group our x's together. So we have x squared plus 10x. Then I'm going to put a plus a blank, and I'm going to have to put something in that blank to complete the square. Plus y squared minus 4y plus blank equals, and we're going to take this 20 across, subtracting 20 from both sides. So we're going to have negative 20 plus blank plus blank. Whatever we put in these two blanks, we're going to have to put in blanks on the other side of the equal sign so that we don't change the whole value of the total equation. So remember, what we put in here is 10 divided by 2 squared, okay? And what we put here is negative 4 divided by 2 squared. Okay, so in other words, what goes in this blank is 5 squared. So we have x squared plus 10x plus 5 squared plus y squared minus 4y minus 2, or plus a negative 2 if you want to do it that way, squared, is equal to negative 20 plus 25, because 5 squared is 25, and then plus 4, because negative 2 times negative 2 is 4. Okay? So now how does that look when we make these as perfect square polynomials? Remember, the reason I do this is because that's what comes down in your parentheses. That's x plus 5 squared, okay, plus y minus 2 squared, and that equals to 9. Okay? 25 minus 20 is 5, 5 plus 4 is 9. So now, this is our standard form. So if we were going to fill in this sheet, we'd have x plus 5 squared plus y minus 2 squared equals 9. Now we can read our center, negative 5, 2, right out of the standard form. And our radius is the square root of the last number of the constant, which is 3. So now we go to negative 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and up 2. And that's our center, and our radius is 3. So we go 3 on each direction away from the center. And there's our circle. Okay. Now let's go to do another example. We have several examples to go through. So let's do another one. Here again, first step, group your x's and y's together. I need to go down here where I have room. X squared plus 12x plus blank plus y squared minus 6y plus blank equals negative 29 plus blank plus blank. And what do we put in the blanks? This is going to be 12 divided by 2, so that's 6 squared. That means over here I'm going to add 36. And negative 6 divided by 2 is negative 3 squared, and so that means over here I'm going to add 9. So we have x plus 6 squared plus y minus 3 squared equals, and that's going to be 16. Okay, negative 29 plus 9 is negative 20. Negative 20 plus 36 is 16. So this whole thing here is what we would put up here in the standard form blank. And our center, if we read that out, would be negative 6, positive 3, and the square root of 16 is our radius, which is 4. So we go to negative 6 and up 3, and our radius, count that, for drawing our circle. And there we have it. Okay, missed that point. All right. All right, let's go to our next page of notes. Okay. Now this is an example where you notice that you have a coefficient in front of the x squared and y squared. And so we've got to divide everything by 3 first. Remember, we need to complete the square, you can't have the coefficient. So when we divide everything by 3, we end up with x squared plus y squared minus 2x plus 8y, and I'm going to go ahead and put the negative 8 over there, equals negative 8. Now let's get our x's and y's together. We have x squared minus 2x plus blank plus y squared plus 8y plus blank. And that's going to equal negative 8y, and we have 2 blanks we're going to have to fill in. So we add whatever we add to one side, again, you have to add to the other. What goes in the first blank is negative 2, this middle number divided by 2, so that's going to be negative 1 squared. So negative 1 times negative 1 is 1. We're going to add 1 to the right side. And what goes in here is 4 squared, 8 divided by 2, and so we'll add 16 over here. And so we end up with our standard form is x minus 1 squared plus y plus 4 squared equals 16 minus 8 is 8 plus 1 is 9. So our center of this one is 1, negative 4, and our radius is 3. So we go 1 and down 4. Here's our center. And our radius is 3, right there, 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 and there. And we sketch in our circle. All right, now our last example for this one. When we go to separate them, we have x squared plus 14x plus blank. And we have plus y squared, and there's not a just y term. Well, just leave it y squared, and we're going to bring over our 45, and that'll be equals negative 45. Okay, so remember what it meant when you had a y squared by itself was that your k is going to be 0. Okay, we still have to complete the square, but this time we just have to do it once. 14 divided by 2 is 7, so 7 squared goes in that blank, so that means we're going to add 49 on the right. And so our final standard form is going to be x plus 7 squared plus y squared is equal to 4. So our center is negative 7, 0, and we have a radius of 2. So you go here to negative 7 and 0, and it's a little small circle with only a radius of 2. And so there's your graph. And that is basically what you need to do to complete the square to go from general form to standard form, and then from standard form, it's very easy to graph these equations.